Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today's the 13th of January 2024. We're going to talk about this continued saga that's going on with Elon Musk and his alleged drug use. You guys can see recently that the news has picked this up. I mean, everyone is running with it, that he is using illegal drugs like LSD, cocaine, ecstasy, psychedelic mushrooms, even ketamine, all to help for his depression. Now, there's a lot of people, witnesses, individuals that say that he's done some slurring, cringeworthy speeches as to kind of lend to one to think that maybe he is taking drugs. All of the news articles have been picking it up. So there's this other article from Futurism, you guys can see it right here, that they're asking a very good question. They want to see the chain of custody of Elon Musk's urine whenever he takes his drug test. Now, some of these articles here goes into him taking random drug tests. Now, the question, which is a very good question, is, okay, what's the chain of custody like? Who's in charge of taking the urine from Elon Musk after he gets done using the restroom, takes the urine, pass it on to wherever it needs to go to get tested? We'll like to see the chain of custody on Elon Musk's pee after the drug allegations. Tiptoe into Musk's office after his night out, not getting into Bergen, and say, hey, Mr. Musk, it's time for your random drug test. Here's a cup. That's a scenario. They want you to picture this into your mind as how does this chain of custody actually work out? If it's random. Or is it random? As the fallout from reports of Elon Musk's alleged drug use continues, one columnist has made a very salient point that there may well be someone whose job it is to collect the boss's pee. Isn't that crazy? Like, could you imagine you being the employee who runs up to Elon Musk and says, time to take a drug test? Like, you're the employee. You're not above Elon Musk. Would you be nervous? Would you be scared? How would you feel? Because best believe your job will be on the line, and you have to converse and get in contact with one of the richest people on the planet, and you're responsible for collecting this pee. In a Bloomberg op-ed, former Goldman Sachs banker and current Deal Breaker editor Matt Levine recounted one of the more easily overlooked points of this bizarre plot. Think about it. That Musk is, per his attorney and his own prior recollections, subjected to random drug tests. Many people have forgot about that. Well, since his attorney brought it up, even Elon Musk brought it up, well, how's the chain of custody then? Answer this question. Let's go down this rabbit hole to see how is this procedure played out. That would seem to mean that there's an employee or group of employees responsible for collecting the urine to be tested. It does. It makes sense that someone has to be in control of this pee. Where is it going from A to B to C? Imagine, this is what the columnist goes on to say. Being the SpaceX employee in charge of randomly drug testing Elon Musk, tiptoe into Musk's office after his night out, not get into Bergen, and say, hey, Mr. Musk, it's time for your random drug test. Here's a cup, Levine continues. What if he says no? What if he hands you back the cup and it's full of cocaine? What are you going to do about it? You work for him, and he is not like a chill and understanding guy. Levine went on to point out that Tesla also has anti-drug policies as well, which could indicate, theoretically at least, that there's also someone who's supposed to collect urine samples from the man himself at that company as well. So we got SpaceX, we got Tesla. Both of these businesses have anti-drug policies. Maybe you got an employee at SpaceX who collects the urine there, and Tesla the same way. Maybe Tesla has an employee that collects the urine from Elon Musk. Though he doesn't continue down the train of thought, he ends the whole scenario right there. The columnist's yellow hue thought experiment would logistically entail a chain of custody for the billionaire's pee. But because we're not government piss test experts, we don't know who will receive that liquid nuclear football between the sample first being expelled and it ending up in a contractor's lab somewhere. That's a very good question. So with all of this allegations of Elon Musk taking drugs, we could definitely see the answer as to whether or not he is or isn't off of the urine test. After it's tested, will he allow those results to be revealed? That's the question. You can say one thing, but the evidence is where the truth is. And if it's random, that also lends to believe that, okay, if you're doing random drug tests, it's possible that you may actually, or at least some people have some hints that you may be allegedly taking these drugs. As with many Muskian gambits, we're left with more questions than answers. And it seems to me that even though all of these news sites have been publishing articles about this alleged drug use on Elon Musk, no one is really trying to dig deep and get these answers. Why hasn't there been no investigation spawned? What's really going on? Everyone's kind of be like tight-lipped, like don't want to say nothing, kind of sweep it under the rug and act like the dirt's not here. Does the urine get passed off to a courier who takes it to a federal office and have it shipped to NASA headquarters in DC? Or does it get sent to Caltech's Jet Propulsion Lab, which NASA co-funds because that's closer? Will there be another courier to pick it up? And who would check in the precious cargo after that? And the glaring number one question, how do we know it's really Musk's pee that ultimately ends up in the lab? In his famously tyrannical work environments, it isn't conceivable that he's simply providing someone else's malnutrition, which indeed tests clean even if he has been doing drugs. It's gross, I know, but because of Musk's immense government contracts, is also a billion-dollar question. If you have Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, on drugs, you best believe that he will lose out on those government contracts. So everyone has a vested interest in this piss. This is the billion-dollar piss test. And to me, they won't allow that test to come out, even if he has allegedly done drugs. Or they would kind of switch and put in clean piss and smack a label off on the cup and put Elon Musk's name on it. Because $1 billion is at stake here. Reputation is at stake here. Power is at stake here. Between the government and SpaceX, it's hard to tell which is the more secretive and least likely to respond to sensitive media queries of any nature, much less one regarding P. Nevertheless, we've reached out to both to ask for any information about how samples are taken, transported, and tested, and we'll definitely update this story if someone provides us with their response. Do you think they're going to respond? The government or Elon or SpaceX or Tesla? Do you think they're really going to respond to how this chain of custody is actually done? Do you think they will fabricate some information, stories, lies, documentation to make it seem as if Elon Musk is not doing drugs? Of course they would. I don't think they're going to respond to their questions about how this chain of custody is done. Sometimes you just have to be quiet. But they're the one who opened Pandora's box, Elon's attorney and Elon himself, when they say that he takes random drug tests. Well, show us the results. Yeah, you can tell me that you passed them. Show us the results. Show me the chain of custody, because it's very important from how his piss goes from his body to the lab to get where it gets tested to the final result. From A to B, a lot can happen. Someone else can piss in a cup. Someone else can fabricate documentation. Someone else could actually lose the evidence. Who's in control here? Now, you're the billion-dollar CEO, right? Of course you won't allow some meager employee to come in and take your piss when you know you're in the wrong and you've been taking drugs? You already know that that employee will keep his or her mouth shut. You know they would. Keep your mouth shut. Look at him. You're his employee. How would you feel if you had that responsibility of the chain of custody of his piss? Would you even want to be in that position? I already know you probably wouldn't want to do that because your life, your reputation would be at stake. He has the funds to destroy your life if you were to actually hold the truth of his alleged drug use. This is a very, very big story. And it makes me wonder why so many people are picking up on this story, but no one is actually delving deeper. They're asking questions. And this is a very poignant question right here. The chain of custody. Why are they not getting answers? All of these articles that have been published on Elon Musk's alleged drug use have all stated that when they reach out for answers to Elon Musk, his attorney, SpaceX, Tesla, they all are hush. They're being quiet. They're not saying anything regarding this particular allegation. I wonder why. If you have nothing to hide, if you're actually drug free, answer the questions. As a matter of fact, SpaceX on Twitter dropped a alleged video of where they said that Elon Musk was slurring his speech. He was talking out his ass. He was cringeworthy. The speech was cringeworthy. The employees of SpaceX said. It's on Twitter. All you had to do is go to SpaceX page and it's there. We've had witnesses from some of these articles stating that he does drugs at parties. He does drugs with his brother. But no one is really trying to figure out if it's true or not. They're just kind of like leaving it up in the ether. Just let it float up in the air. And I want you to understand that there's different rules for different people. It's not because he's better than you. It's because he's in a position that you're not. That's why he's tipping up the glass there. Because he knows he's in a better position than you. He knows that he has billions of dollars. He knows that he has power that you and I don't have. Different rules for different people. If you were in fact in his situation, understand, case closed. An investigation would have been launched. They would have gotten the chain of custody of your drug test, tested the drug. Maybe even if you are drug free, they would have somebody else pee in your cup, act like it is your cup, and say that you have been doing drugs. Could they even do that to Elon Musk if he's drug free? And you have someone that's trying to get back at him for something. Like, you have to be very, very cautious and careful. Because this is the world that we live in. Power, greed, control, money is what moves people. So don't be surprised if this gets swept under the rug until something bigger pops up that you will have to take a look at, that you just cannot turn around and act like you didn't see it happen. That is what would have to happen in order for this to really get the light that it needs to be shown. Because right now everybody act like they don't want to put a light on it. It's all alleged. Something has to happen bigger to where all of these news publications will have to come back and line everything up and say, we saw this the whole time. So why are we acting surprised now? He's been doing this for the longest time. He's beginning to pass. That's what's happening. If it's true and not alleged, he's beginning to pass. Think about it. Make sure you maintain the profitability. And as always, trade different.